Hey, produce people, welcome back to the Produce Industry Podcast live here on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Guess what? Today is March 17th, 2022. It's St. Patty's Day. That's right. I got my green sign in the background. I got my fresh court guacamole shirt on, best green shirt that I could find. And today is the Dads of Produce, everyone. We figured this was a great idea to have the dads on today and actually have a featured guest, which we will go ahead and talk about. Carl is one of the best people now that I've met in Tampa when it comes to produce. And I'm going to tell you why, okay? And we're going to introduce him. We're going to introduce his show. But before that, we're going to bring on our dads as well. And we're going to get this episode started, everyone. Oh, man, the dads are back. Ross, Michael, welcome back, guys.
Thanks. Pleasure to be here.
Happy St. Patty's, everyone. Good to see you guys. We all got our green on. I love it.
Live from Indy, baby.
Tampa, right here, Tampa, Florida.
Good old Visalia over here, baby. You gotta love California.
Hey, listen, we'll let you deal with California. We'll deal with the free states over here. Cough, cough. Man, listen, guys. I think between the last episode and this episode, it's kind of close together, which is cool because we've been getting a lot of good feedback, a lot of good success. We've got our first guest on today, which I'm pretty excited about. And I met through one of our friends in the produce industry, guys. So it was like, hey, do you know this guy? I was like, no. They're like, you got to meet Carl Fiadini. He has the show, The Walk and Talk. And I'm like, no, I've never heard of this guy. And then all of a sudden he's like, here's the YouTube channel. And I was just like, all right, I can get into this. I can get into this, everyone. So listen, guys, I'm gonna do what I told you. It's gonna be a little bit of a different episode today. I'm going to jump off. I'm going to go back into the green room. I'm going to help manage some of the back end to this. And Ross and Michael are your hosts today, everyone. So if you're watching live on LinkedIn, if you're watching on any of the other channels, Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, please comment. I'll be responding today, getting your comments. And we're also going to post a link very soon that's going to show you how you can join into the show if you're a dad. So if you want to join into the show, I'm going to drop a link there and you'll be able to come on, maybe tell us your favorite produce, have some fun like that. But listen, these guys are going to take over. You might hear a dad joke or two, pretty corny, I probably can expect. And obviously, great interview with Ross. And let these guys kick it off and then introduce our guest today.
Thanks, Patrick. Well, hey, I'm live from Indy here. Mike, what do you got for us in the way? What do you got for us in the way of dad joke? Because I know you had the dad joke lined up.
Well, I go back and forth, so I'm fairly new to Instagram, so I started following a dad joke page, and it kind of fell in line with one of our last lives. But in the spirit of March, I know Patrick's daughter Lily just had a birthday. My daughter Penelope has a birthday coming up this Saturday. You can kind of see some balloons behind me there in the background. I'll go with a good old dad joke that ties in a birthday a little bit. So Ross, listeners, what does a pirate say when he turns 80 years old?
R.
Close. Good guess. I'm 80. I'm 80. Get it? Hopefully I got a chuckle out of someone, but the kids like it. It's a cheesy dad joke, and drum roll prior to that, and that's all I got.
Now, what are your kids' favorite green food?
Ooh, green food. Surprisingly, man, they like broccoli a lot. So they do well with steamed broccoli. And then lately it's been Brussels sprouts. I feel like every time you, myself, and Patrick hop on a call or we get to talking or we're having a meal together, Brussels sprouts are somehow tied into the equation. How about your kids, Ross?
I haven't quite got them on the Brussels sprout bandwagon yet, but green beans, definitely for sure, is one of my kids' favorite. My daughter is more into the asparagus. That's kind of where I love to do is asparagus. But she also likes guacamole. So
There you go. You gotta love good guac. I know my kids. I can slice it, throw it on anything, and they usually enjoy it. Are all about it, or they'll scoop it right out of the halved avocado and go to town. So they like that snack. And if we kind of jump into scooping right out of the fruit, I know the dragon fruit in my house has been a hit with the girls. So they love how the dragon fruit is easy. You cut it right in half, and it's kind of just its own little bowl, and it looks cool. So I know we've got some dragon fruit talk as of recently with I believe it's Fresh Wave with the Produce Industry Podcast. Very cool company. Definitely something to look up.
all right. Well, with that, let's get Carl in here and get him into the show. Patrick, why don't you bring Carl?
I'm Carl Fiadini with Walk and Talk, the restaurant life. If you follow the show, thank you. We really appreciate the support. If you don't follow the show and you're a foodie or a chef or you're into the restaurant world, this is your home. Check us out. We sincerely appreciate it. It's all about the food. We're filming chefs, their food creations in the best establishments near you. All right, so let me tell you where you can find us. We're on YouTube, we're on Newsbreak, we're all over the internet. We're also streaming on your TV with Roku, Android TV. You can find us on the Amazon app, and very soon, Apple TV. Come on!
Hey, Carl, welcome, man. That was a great intro.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, thanks for having me on the show, man. This is terrific.
Good to have you, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, so for the audience that didn't quite get to grasp all of that, you want to give us a little bit of a 30,000 view of, who you are and everything? What's your favorite produce?
Favorite produce? I mean, I've been in the business for 30 years. 20 years in produce, 30 business and food service. And what's my favorite produce, man? Probably, I'm going to have to go with tomatoes. How about that? Nice.
The heirloom tomato? What kind of a tomato?
So I'll either go with I'll go with a nice vine ripe 5.6 / and also some nice baby heirloom tomatoes. Yes. Ooh. Nice color, not just the green ones, yellows, the reds, the greens, all of them. Yeah. Just like M&Ms, good stuff.
I saw some salsa in a few of those pictures there, with some tomatoes and mangoes and everything diced up. So,
I mean, listen, I'm very blessed to work with a lot of chefs, a lot of bar managers, bartenders who also use veg and herbs and everything and what they're doing. And, ultimately, if you want the 30,000 foot view of everything, we film chefs, we film restaurants, we film the bar, we film the property, and we do that in order to promote the business. We were this whole concept came from COVID, and out of COVID, there was a lot of my friends in the business. The restaurants closed, they were fired, furloughed, whatever, and ultimately there was a way for me to kind of, I don't want to say give back, but just to help everybody get out there again. I want to promote that particular chef, that cuisine, whatever it is. And, we're fortunate right now, we're getting, 60, 70,000 views on an episode. And it's amazing, right? Because you don't expect that. A year and a half, 2 years ago, this didn't exist for us. So very fortunate. My team is strong, John, Willie, Pablo, and the gang. They take really good care of me on the back end, so I can go out on the front and make these chefs proud of what we're putting out there.
Well, that's really cool to hear. I know.
Go ahead, Russ.
Mike and I have been able to share some nice meals together, and it's always for me, it always fascinates me going into a restaurant. Like, how can a chef, come up with something so creative, and it inspires me to just incorporate more fresh produce into my meals at home. I mean, Mike, you want to take it from there?
Yeah, man. I saw a comment here. I wanted to jump in, and I know we've been to some nice restaurants together, Ross. So that's always a pleasure. But you always wonder, how do these chefs curate these menus? Where does the creativity come in? I see a comment here from a Danielle Finger about English shelling peas and snap peas. What do we know about that, Carl? Can you elaborate a little more on where you see that coming into the restaurant play and its uses?
Yeah, well, listen, when you're talking about English peas and everything, that's typically a spring item. A lot of times, though, you're going to end up getting that frozen. There's a small window for fresh. But when you're talking about their menus and what, their creativity, that's the beautiful thing about culinary. When you get people who actually care about what they're doing and they have a skill set that can actually, come up with the menu, whatever the ingredients are, the protein, the veg, everything on that plate. And I'll give you an example. We filmed at a place called 400 Beach out in St. Pete a couple of weeks ago, and they had a sea bass dish that they used they used fennel for the side, but they used fennel in every capacity. There was a sauce with the fennel. There was the actual fennel. There was there was 3 or 4 different items on that plate that came from the fennel, and it was awesome. It was badass. Like, you wouldn't expect that the sauce would taste different than the frill, whatever, how they had it on the plate. It was amazing. So creative people do creative things, and when you're talking about fruits and veg, there's thousands of items to choose from, and seasonality is kind of a strange thing these days, because it seems like today you can almost get what you want year round, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, very much so. I know one item that I enjoy when I go out that I haven't quite mastered at home is like a pearl onion.
Oh, they're great. Even if
Those are great.
Even if you just saute those, man, and eat them straight away, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
So what are you enjoying? Yeah, what are you enjoying that's green today?
My hat and
there you go, little Glenn Levat. That's a good choice.
right. Yeah. So I was sporting my, I didn't do the shirt, but I am sporting the green cap. Keel Farms, good people, friends of the show. Yeah, man. So you're talking produce. You're talking. Hey, how do we introduce more of that to the kids? So I've got two. I know you guys have you got your little clans going on also. So my in-laws, my wife is Cuban, and we're fortunate, very, very fortunate. My mother-in-law is a fantastic cook, and what she does is she gets all sorts of greens, all sorts of veg, and the proteins, and she does these. It's a puree, and I love it. Like, I can sit there with a bowl and eat it because it has every kind of flavor in there. And, I'm like, my waistline, because of what I do for this show, is gigantic. So I'm trying to bring that in. But the kids love this, the puree. They love it. What do you guys do?
I bet there's a bunch of cool purees that you get to do, and that's so awesome that you have that mix of culture, and how you're incorporating that with your kids. I know, Ross and I have got on. This is Dads of Produce. We're both produce dads, and we try and incorporate. And I know Ross has done some cool stuff. I know my favorite that always sticks in my head is your strawberry chocolate fondue set that you do. I definitely got to do that with my kids. Yeah. I'm sure that's a hit with the kiddos, but I mean, recently, we just try and come up with creative ways, and all the social media that's out there, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, what have you, there's always cool recipes. And I really think that the celebrity chefs now are making it cool. They're actually putting, the kids at the forefront. And I know we've snagged some cool recipes for my kids and I that are simple enough for us to make together because they're just 6 and 8 years old. And it's stuff we enjoy. Do you guys have any recipes that you've done with your kids that you guys want to share?
For the love of God in the house, I stay out of the kitchen, man. I leave that to the professionals. But I just want to touch on something you said. You're talking celebrity chefs. Part of the Walk and Talk show is to highlight local chefs, and I feel like the local chefs are the ones who are working hard to to create pretty plates and give you a full belly, right? And it's the local chefs, I think, that deserve a lot of the spotlight now. So that's kind of what we do. And it's the local chefs that drive, it drives what the menu or what is trending in food. And obviously, whatever's trending in food, we're going to have fruits and veg on the plate. So I think local is kind of where it's at. We all appreciate the celebrity cats out there, but I think these unsung chefs and sous chefs and even the unsung dishwashers these days, they all deserve a little accolade, and that's kind of what we're trying to bring to the table. And I feel like there's a giant lane, for these guys and gals to really make names for themselves. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Local, man. You said local like 5 times there. My mind triggers as a produce guy. Locally grown produce. Sometimes there's these small windows in growing regions or with certain items, and it's fantastic when local chefs incorporate them. At the mom and pop diner down the road, or even a higher end steakhouse. That's 20 miles from the growing region, and you have that real small segment. I mean, local chefs rock. I mean, any of these chefs, servers, barbacks, everyone down the line deserves an applaud. So, I mean, that's what I heard. I heard local so much, and they're heroes. I mean, they're coming up with creative ways to use local stuff in the segment of time that they have.
True story. Yeah, Florida is a funny place because, especially now with a lot of people moving here to the state. We've been busy for the last year plus in the on the food side. That means on the farm side they're busy too, right? So Florida growing is kind of tricky. You get a short window and you got to rely on California south of the border and all of that. So it's a funny deal. But when you're talking local in terms of eateries. Yeah, man. I mean, you can't beat that. And it's it'd be a wonderful thing if Florida was able to figure it out for summertime. You know what I mean? Those hot months, man, it's just rough. It's hard out there.
I did have a question though. As you're out visiting all of these chefs, like what is some of the staple produce items that every chef has in their pantry that you see, or some of the exotic favorites that you've been able to experience?
Well, it's some, look at microgreens, microflowers, stuff like that, because obviously people are going to eat, baby peeled carrots, or rainbow, chard or something like that. There's a lot of things you can do with it on the plate. When you're talking about things that are actually high in nutrients, you look at microgreens, man. They're beautiful to look at, and they're delicious to eat, and they're really healthy for you. If that makes any sense, it's a good deal. And if it's a local thing, and for those folks out there who are watching this that are actually in the Central Florida area, a very dear friend of mine, his name is Marvin. He's over at Cahaba Clubs in Odessa over there. This guy is a beautiful human being. His farm is fantastic, and he would be glad to do tours, talk about what he does, talk about greens, micros, and all of that. And I feel like that's something that people should kind of be aware of. So if you're talking like, hey, what's good on the plate, you're always going to have your Brussels sprouts and your asparagus, and there's always going to be snow peas. There's always going to be that. And by the way, I agree with Patrick on the Brussels, man. I can do some roasted Brussels sprouts anytime.
Yeah,
That's always a hit, man.
The problem is when you go out with Patrick and you get Brussels sprouts, you don't get to have any because he takes the whole dish to himself.
We got to order more. That's the beauty of the restaurant, man. Like, hey, let's make it a deuce. Let's do it. Double it
Two
up.
orders or double up. Yeah, exactly. You got to double up. Get a fat serving, something like that. I see some of the comments too here with that Jack Riddle, all crispy varieties of lettuce with fruit is always fun and tasty for grown-ups and kids. Totally agree there. Love the comment, Jack. We appreciate the participation. And I love Patrick's comment. Aren't all chefs considered local?
Well, it depends. I guess it depends on where you're at. I guess there's I'm going to walk a gray line on this in a gray area. Because at the end of the day, anybody who works inside of a restaurant, it's not an easy life, man. Sharp stuff, fire, steam, there's a lot of, bad things that happen. But, if you're talking independent versus corporate, right? Like the big giant corporate establishments out there, I consider, I think that's kind of where you would say, hey, I'm going to put it in that local basket because it's independent, versus corporate. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with, there's room for everybody at the table, no pun intended, right? So, it kind of works out. And I think carrots, by the way, I think carrots are an unsung hero in the produce world as well, because, you don't think about, hey, I want to have a carrot. But once you get into one, they're sweet and they're good, It's not alluring like, hey, I want to go get a carrot. But once you get into it, good stuff.
Rainbow carrots, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Rainbow carrots peeled, with a little nub on it. Yeah.
We got Maddie Fisher here. No gender reveal over here, guys. I'm going to make that real clear. Little birthday get together.
Yeah, she must have been late joining the party. She missed the whole intro.
Yeah.
Normal Maddie fashion there, late to the party.
Yeah, Maddie, it's my Penelope's birthday on Saturday. I know you've got a Penelope as well, but she's celebrating 7 years old this Saturday, so it'll be.
What produce are you serving at the party, Mike?
Ooh, good question. We got some nice. She loves Caesar salad, so we're doing some Caesar salad. What else do we got going? Of course, pizza. Kids always want pizza. On that pizza, she loves olives. A huge cheese and olive fan, so. We're gonna have some cheese and olive pizza, a little pepperoni.
My daughter's also an olive fan.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's she's I don't know, man. She likes that irony flavor, I guess. I've always thought olives were a little too irony for me on flavor, but hey, whatever floats your boat.
I got a birthday party next Saturday for my daughter Alice. So her birthday was the end of February, but we're doing her birthday celebration with her friends next Saturday. So I'll have the balloons, the pizza, all that. That'll be me next weekend.
There you go. Right on.
Well, we've got the whole NCAA tournament going on with some games going here in Indy. So, there'll be some good basketball with hopefully a lot of produce being consumed for the next few weeks. A lot of guacamole and salsa and all that kinds of stuff. So,
Yeah, you're saying all the right stuff to me.
So who's on the bracket, guys? Who's the winner? Who's the big winner this year, March Madness? Who are we thinking?
Yeah, I don't even want to try to pick. There's just too many that could just change. You already had an 11 upset of 6 today with Michigan winning. So, there's a lot of Big Ten teams, though. So I got to represent the Big Ten. So
in the house.
Big Ten in the house with Ross. I love it.
Hey, they're playing down the street at Gainbridge State. Gainbridge, auditorium, whatever you want to call it here in Indy. So it was cool. I went to a couple of the Big Ten games last Friday night. That was always a fun time. So,
yeah, Indiana's that's a big sport. You're in a big sports town over there.
Yeah, you got Colts and Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't forget the Indy 500. If you want to go fast, that's where you're going fast. So.
I want to go fast. You got to love Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights, man. That's a classic.
So, Carl, what are you seeing that's going to be next? Like, what for people who are not into your show, what could they expect to see next coming up? Like, what do you see as the next?
We actually have a lot of really pretty big things coming up. I would say within the next 6 weeks, we're starting a new show concept. It's called Restaurant Recipes. And ultimately what we're going to do is we are going to go We're going to be on location with, real chefs. We're going to take menu items and we're basically we're going to take that dish and we're going to break it down and show you how to make it at home the right way. There's a trend online where, everybody's, showing you how to make things, right? Well, I want to bring that to you from your local chef from around the corner on how to do it. Also, we have our first edition magazine coming out also in about, a handful of weeks, 3, 4, 5, something like that, called The Restaurant Life. And it's an industry piece, but it's also for the foodie. I'm going to focus, of course, on the chefs, on the nice establishments, in Central Florida currently. And I'm really excited about that. It's we've got some actual food writers who are, we're very fortunate to have some of these things happening to us. So I'm excited about the magazine as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening, man. And the views, I can't believe the views on the show they're just going up. I'm predicting that few months, we're going to hit into the hundreds of thousands of views. And that's what we're looking for, but I really feel we're close, man. It's so close.
Well, we can't wait, man. Baby. That's awesome. Shake and I don't know about you, Ross, but I know if you need a couple dads to volunteer and taste test or be on site,
we can make that happen. Don't threaten me. Don't threaten me because you'll be out. I'm telling you now.
Hey, we'll be glad to come down and be taste testers and give our opinions. We'll help review things. Always can enjoy some delicious food.
If there's a good time, man, you can invite me. Don't make it a threat. Let's make it happen. You know what I mean?
I love that, man. I love that. Well, Carl, great, man. So good to meet you. Good to have you on. It is an honor. I know, at least from myself. I just want to tell you thank you. I'll let Ross take over, and kind of give you his segue goodbye. But man, what an interesting creation with Walk and Talk. I mean, amazing. Everyone's got to check that out. Good having you on, man.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys are awesome. I sincerely appreciate you inviting me on the program. And you want to talk about produce, Central Florida. Look into Farm Fresh Produce out of St. Pete. They do everything right, and if you're looking for good fruits and veg out there, you're in a kitchen. You want to look into those cats.
There's definitely a lot of good produce that comes out of Florida for sure.
Well, you know what I mean. Well, what separates a lot of that is the people who are bringing it to your location. That's the separation.
I mean, I had the pleasure of being down there in January with Patrick, and we did some tours. I mean, we got to see some strawberries, some oranges and citrus, and some vegetables. And I mean, it's a great state. There's a lot of good things that really supplied Florida supplies so much of the East Coast and gives that break from the West Coast. So it's definitely a balancing act. There's Florida strawberries are wrapping up, and the flavor of those has been outstanding this season. So if you haven't checked it out, check out the Wish Farms video that Patrick and I did and the slide of that. So it was fun.
Copy that.
Well, thanks again. We appreciate your time and all the knowledge, and look forward to seeing what else is going on in the culinary world that includes produce.
You guys are awesome. Thanks again for having me.
Thanks, Carl.
I'm Carl Fiadini with Walk and Talk, The Restaurant Life. If you follow the show, thank you. We really appreciate the support. If you don't follow the show and you're a foodie or a chef or you're into the restaurant world, this is your home. Check us out. We sincerely appreciate it. It's all about the food. We're filming chefs, their food creations, in the best establishments near you. All right, so let me tell you where you can find us. We're on YouTube, we're on Newsbreak, we're all over the internet. We're also streaming on your TV with Roku, Android TV. You can find us on the Amazon app, and it's very soon, Apple TV.
Come on.
Guys, wow. Was that not fantastic to have Carl on or what, man? Just watching the sizzle again. I'm telling you, with the asparagus, with the shrimp, watching the sizzle go. Oh man, I'm telling you, you guys had a treat today.
It was pretty good, man. It was amazing to have that conversation and learn about the culinary side a little bit more.
Yeah, you know what's one thing we forgot to do because we were obviously talking and having the show is invite any dads onto the show, and sometimes that happens. Maddie Fisher's throwing you guys off talking about a gender reveal party and things like that happen, right? Of course, someone's got to throw a wrench in there, and of course she's like, "What? Yeah, I came to the party late. It's what it is, everyone." So
we love Maddie. Maddie, we love you out there. We love you. We're going to pick on you a little bit, though.
Oh, of course. I love that we had at the last minute, too. We had Pedro Hernandez jump in and say shake and bake. I thought that was fantastic. Represent, obviously, everybody who obviously threw some comments out there. I was going to say thanks for everybody that called in, but we didn't do that today. So, but guys.
Hey, what are you having that's green? We didn't get to ask you. What are you enjoying green this month?
Can't forget. This whole month? I mean,
today and the month.
Yeah. So today, I've got my 3 heads of romaine lettuce in the fridge tonight that we have going for salad. And then obviously I've got limes in there. I've got celery. I've got a lot. It's funny. I had a conversation yesterday with a gentleman, so I'm getting some more hummus in. So I'm definitely going to be increasing my celery consumption probably for the month of March.
Nice.
There's nothing wrong with that.
With hummus.
Not peanut butter hummus. What flavor?
Well, there's like 6 different flavors that I'm going to be trying. So this is Fresh Cravings that does the Fresh Cravings salsa. They've got 6 different types. So there's like everything bagel. There's a spicy one. There's a regular hummus. So I'm going to be having all of them. That's the goal, is I'm going to eat them all. That's my number one goal, is eat as much hummus as possible, along with mangoes. Mangoes aren't green, but I don't know if you guys know this, but mangoes from Mexico are starting to come in. Ross, you probably know this, right? I mean, mangoes are starting to come in heavily. I told myself I'm going to eat like 12 mangoes this year. Mike, our friend Amanda down at London Fruit Company, who's also a sponsor of the show, mangoes just were never in the basket every week. Mike, I've always told you this, Ross, but now that I'm starting to learn more about it, I actually am going to have some Atulfo's sent to me next week and some Tommy's. So I'm going to try some first of the season. Obviously, they were different than last year, which were the end of the season. So I'm trying to have a minimum of 12 mangoes this year for the whole year. Can you guys say that you actually eat 12 mangoes a year? I'm just curious.
No, not necessarily.
See? So I'm just going to try and eat one a month.
I do like the fruit cups. I like stopping, here in California, you got a fruit cup stand like on every corner. I do like stopping for those. So in the summertime, I probably buy 10 to 12. I don't know if I actually eat 12 mangoes, though, but yeah.
Not at a time. Yeah, you got to, like I said,
one a month
throughout the year. I'm trying something new. Just like dragon fruit. Like I said, we got a new dragon fruit partner on board as well. And they're like, we want to send you more dragon fruit. I'm like, let's do this. I'm like, send it to me. I'll cut this thing up. I'll figure out. Remember, Gary Wishnowsky said it. I mean, you're kind of cool when you come to the table with a fruit platter, but how cool are you when you come to the fruit platter with pine berries, right? So I'm going to try and figure out some things, what you can do with dragon fruit.
Have you guys seen pine berries have all of a sudden taken off on TikTok?
Oh, dude, everywhere. It's crazy.
So we've actually seen an increase in demand through our retailers because of pine berries on TikTok.
Wait a minute. You're saying that like omni-channel marketing works, Ross?
we have had a couple of retailers recently pick up more pine berries because of TikTok is driving people into the store asking about them. So
that's pretty good, though. That's actually really good. I think that's fantastic, to be honest with you. I think that
you're talking about Gary. I got his book back here.
You got Gary's book? Shout out to Gary Wishnowsky at Wish Farms. You know what's funny is I actually text Nick all the time now, his son, And I'm not sure if he likes it or not, but I sent him all my strawberry and blueberry pictures that I feed my daughter. So like he's getting pictures of my daughter. He's probably like, what? I met this guy one time. And he's like, he's sending me all of his blueberries. He's like, I know it. But
you can't get mad at Lily's cute face. There's no way he's upset about that. It might be a little
I'm sending him Danny. It's even better.
Dan. Oh, even better, man. You got to get both of them together because that's just cuteness overload right there.
Dude, every morning I told you, Ross knows this. Every morning, Ross, it's pancakes with blueberries and strawberries. That's what I feed Danny every single morning. And people are like, you should change it up. Gary Wisniewski said, why? That's a perfect breakfast, right? He's like, add more blueberries or strawberries. Don't change it, right? Maybe a banana, but
maybe a raspberry.
If they're ripe, grapes, that's what dads do. I try to, when we got to stick to a schedule, us dads sometimes, right, guys? Let's talk dads for a second. We really do like to stick to a routine. I was talking to my wife about this, and it's like, it's spring break. The kids are home. It's St. Patrick's Day. They're, in Tampa. Right. And well, St. Patrick's Day, I meant spring break, you guys. But like, I'm sitting here doing this and doing this. And my wife's kind of watching me and she's like, is this what you do when I'm like not home? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, you could tell like I'm in this routine, right? Like, okay, it's like you feed Danny, you do this. And then like when she's home, right? And then it's like, sometimes what happens, Mike? What happens, Ross?
It all gets thrown off.
No, dude, I'm like, I'm like trying to work. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this, eat this, what blueberries, strawberries, what do we have for breakfast? Like the whole thing just gets screwed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Coexisting with someone else who's not usually there in the mix.
The intention was there. That's what counts. The intention was there to have this nice planned meal. And then it just goes, the wheels come off. So you do what you got to do as a dad.
Did you see all the green stuff I posted this morning?
Oh yeah. There was so much
grapes, cabbage, kale.
Yeah.
There was so much of it, man. I can tell you. I said I got those greens, and that's the best thing to post. I mean, it's so funny because if you look back at it, Carl, you had a great time. Let's notice that. Yeah, thank you, Carl. We appreciate you as well, man. I'm looking forward to getting to one of his restaurants. El Pedro was shake and bake. Oh yes, thank you. Thank you, Pedro. We appreciate you. But. Listen, I just lost where I was going because I had another shake and bake comment in there, guys. The green, it was with the greens. Either way, I think that's cool that we're able to represent that. And you walk through the warehouse, and now St. Patty's Day coincides with your pictures that go on, and everybody loves that, man. Everybody loves to see that. It's just not the what was it, like collard greens anymore? Remember, that's like everybody. We used to post cabbage and collard greens on St. Patty's Day. A+ for Ross on a little ingenuity.
Corned beef and cabbage, isn't that the big one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't eat that crap.
Yeah.
You gotta have potatoes and carrot. I mean, there's all sorts of different, versions of it and how you want to put your spin on it for sure. So
100%. Well, I'm fortunate that that we all made it here today. We're gonna have obviously. Oh, we got another. Wait, hold on. See, you almost try to like close things up, and no. Josh Dubeck's coming in with the Happy St. Patrick's Day. And now that he did that, it just threw me all off. So did you guys know, because we were all at SCPC together, okay? Did you know that Tim Tebow did not take any pictures with anybody outside the SCPC crew and the SCPC, I would say, council, right? And apparently like 3 people caught selfies with him on the way out. Josh was one of those guys that got selfie. And I was like, Josh, how did that happen? And maybe we should have Josh on the show next. Josh is a dad. He's not in produce, but he does do investments. He does have produce people that are his clients as well. But he told me, he was like, yeah, I was walking out of the bathroom. Tim Tebow was walking this way. I literally walked, said hello, shook his hand, took a picture, shook his hand again, and boom. He's like, nicest guy. Hey, how you doing? So Josh was one of the fortunate ones to just boom, got a pick with Tim Tebow, or they called him, or he called him to himself, little Timmy. They got little Timmy's picture, 6'4" or 5", little Timmy.
Little Timmy, right?
There was a lot of good. The okra story was definitely one of my favorites. So
yeah, it resonated with me. So I wish they had okra served the whole time minimum, but I'm not going to get into that.
For me, it was black raspberries and going and picking those every summer at the early July, just getting arms ripped up from the bushes and God.
Yeah.
But at least I had a delicious fruit to eat, to compensate for it. So
Mike remembers, and so do I. I picked oranges in Florida, and my dad will tell you he only picked oranges for a day. I said, "Yeah, I worked 8 hours and said I never want to do this again." Right? It's oranges picking, man. I tell you, you think it's easy. It's like you almost have to go in and do like a twist pick, right, Mike? It's like a little flick of the wrist to get that orange off the tree. And Florida oranges are different than California oranges when you're picking them too, because there's like banana spiders like this big in the Florida orange groves, man. So, and I might.
Have you ever done a pick of cherries?
No,
God, that's a hard one. I've done that.
Sounds fun.
In Michigan, pick.
Do you like milk them off the tree?
Eat them as you pick them. You got to eat them as you pick them.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, like olives, they got to do the olives, and they got to milk. They say they milk them into the bucket. I'm guessing cherries is kind of the same.
And you got to pick them off the tree. You get up on a ladder. It seems fun at first. You go out, then you look down, and your daughter's just got red all down her chin and all over her shirt. And hey, how many did you pick? I don't know. They're all in their stomach.
I just can't. I guess I just at this point I can't get this out of my head.
I agree with Jay Gardner. You pick and I will juice them.
Oh wait, Jay with the you pick and I will juice, but I have one. I think I got another one here for Mike. Mike, hey, huh? Put that little meme up of Ben. As soon as he said your milk, I could just see Mike. Mike, you can milk anything. Let's have milk cherries all night. I'll just milk cherries all night.
That's how it was described to me with the olive picking. They're like, well, you got to milk them off the tree. I don't know. I've never picked olives, so whoever's out there and I got it totally wrong, I apologize, but that's what I've been told.
I love
and you're sticking with it.
I love it. Well, Carl jumped back in and said, "Little Timmy." I agree. Trust me, he was calling himself Timmy the whole time, and all of listen, he was a great speaker, but I was just sitting there going, "This guy's like almost 40, calling himself little, Timmy." And I'm just like, well, at least he loves his young self, and that's what's the most important about it.
Back to the kids. Do you guys color any of their food green on St. Patrick's Day? Have you done that in the past? Like add food coloring to their milk or to a beverage?
My wife, as a teacher, as your wife, I don't know what she does, but my wife, when St. Patrick's Day fell on the school, my wife would dye her feet green, and she did this for like 8 years in a row, and she would pretty much make this whole story. If the leprechaun came to your house and dyed your feet green, then blah blah blah. And so my wife would do that and then bring green stuff and things like that to the kids. But she dyed her feet green for 8 years in a row. It was the craziest thing ever, man.
I did a prank on the kids one year, and I did their milk green and their cereal. They were just totally thrown off.
Yeah.
Maddie's doing green beer for her kids, apparently.
For her kid. Maddie, listen, this is we got to talk to her, okay? She's like jumping in the show at certain parts. Like she's like totally off. She's like, look. No, she didn't. All right, Maddie. Well, I hope you serve your kids non-alcoholic green beer on St. Patrick's Day. Oh, wait, hold on. Jay Gardner's coming in with what would you call green orange juice?
I don't know.
Oh, you could call it not ripe.
Yeah. Immature.
And these are actually good answers to this dad joke. Jay, you got to tell us. I mean, obviously, you're following along, so don't leave us hanging here. It's kind of messed up. What would you call green orange juice? That stuff you buy in the stores, the green machines. Hold on. I'm jumping this back in. Back to Maddie's comment. A rebuttal from the audience. They will sleep better with alcohol.
You gotta love Paul Manfrey. Right? Uncle Paul.
Oh gosh, I love that Paul's always on Facebook. What's funny is people and people I've realized because they texted me, they're asking where their dad is, Mr. Brett Aaron. Where Brett is busy on the he was on the golf course earlier. Saw on his Instagram page, had good company by his daughter. His daughter is actually on the golf team, is now starting to beat him. So now I'm like making fun of him now a little bit more. Brent's actually in his campaign for councilman in Friendswood area, you guys. So he's on the campaign trail and less on the produce dad trail. I just had to throw that out there because I got a comment texted to me. They're like, "Where's your other guy in crime?" But Paul Manfree from Facebook. Hold on. Maddie came back to Paul with root beer dads chill. Oh, root beer. I thought you were saying
Green root beer.
Green
Food coloring.
beer. Oh,
It might be a
okay.
little hard to dye that, but I don't know. What is root beer? Isn't it a dark color? I don't even.
We could add green. You could add green to the ice cream. If you put vanilla ice cream, you could color it green.
Oh, that
Oh, yeah.
wasabi ice cream. Listen, Jay Gardner has thrown us down a rabbit hole, you guys. He's thrown us completely down a rabbit hole. Look what he comments back with. I don't know. I was asking Jay, we don't have all the answers here, buddy. What are you talking about? I don't know. I was asking you. Guacamole mixed with kale and spinach. I have no idea. What do you...
I thought we might be stepping into a dad joke there. I was waiting on that.
What would you call green orange
waiting
juice?
for the punchline.
The Incredible Hulk. Like
what
would you call it? Well, Jay, thank you for putting us on a whole tangent for 5 minutes. One other thing, another one I'm gonna throw out there. Shout out to Fresh Court. I got this at SCPC, you guys. We actually did Mike and I, as well as Shay Myers, did a video inside of their booth, and it was we tried avocado cocoa, we tried the avocado salad, the salad mix, and the
habanero one. Yeah, the spicy habanero was intense. It had, I think, everyone coughing or asking for some water.
I asked for water.
Great products though, man. What a product lineup. I mean, so innovative. The mixes that they come up with, that cocoa one still blows my mind. I had that last year at West Coast, and then we had it again, and it's just amazing. That combination of guacamole, a blueberry and coconut in there is the oddest, most pleasant surprise.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We did that live session, and they gave me it's kind of like a soccer jersey. I get a lot of soccer jerseys, as you guys know. So, but this is really cool. It's by Fresh Court. And they have, like I said, it's not your traditional guacamole. It's completely different. Hopefully, another time around, we'll get some of their products on, and we can actually taste them on board. Jay Gardner jumped back in and said, "You guys are the produce gurus. We're doing our best." And I know you were asking us, but we had no idea. So, hey, I want to say, Mike, Ross, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for wearing the green. Thanks for representing the dads of produce with dads in produce, because that's the goal. The only way to get our kids to try something new is putting it in front of them. That's it, man. That's all we got to do. So, Mike, Ross, appreciate you guys, and thanks for jumping on the show today.
See you later, Patrick.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for listening to the Produce Industry Podcast live. We had a great featured guest today from Walk and Talk, Carl Fiadini. We're going to learn so much more from Carl, and please be on the lookout for his show, because I guarantee you sooner or later I'm feeling a guest appearance might show up, and it could be me, because I think I got to start coming with Carl and trying some of these fantastic recipes that he's laying on the table for everyone. Check out his show, please. He's getting 50, 60,000 views. Hey, let's give him 100. Let's give him 200. Let's show Carl how much we support the restaurant life, everyone, because that's what it's about. He's here to support them, and we're here to support you. Also, want to give a huge shout out to our fancy sponsors. Mike was on the line from Flavor Wave. We have Ag Tools, Noble Citrus, Buck Naked Onions, Owyhee Produce, and John Green Logistics. These are titled sponsors that want to see this happen every day, in and out. And obviously, we want to see them producing dynamite content. And we're not going to forget, we had a choice sponsor on the line today, which is Ross Nelson of Indianapolis Fruit Company, coming to us live from Indianapolis as well. So it's all around fun here at the Produce Industry Podcast. Next month, we're going to have another featured guest. We're going to look into a restaurant, though. Hopefully have a guest in from Well, you know what? I'm not going to tell you where, but let's just say one of our dads is setting up someone that is a chef and in a restaurant daily. So, and that's what we want to see. We want to see how we can incorporate produce. How can we have fun and look out for other Dads of Produce episodes coming to you live with Dads in Produce. So everyone, as I say, we'll see you in the field. And